So, it's still Saturday afternoon, and my Gsxr 600 is still in wheelie mode on my Aber Skylift. And my next job, just done the wheel bearings, is to pull the forks and do the fork seals. They're not actually leaking, but when I took delivery of this bike, because it was sold unseen from up north, the right hand fork was weeping, so I don't know whether there's enough oil in there. I've no service records with this, so I don't know when the last time the fork oil was done. And peace of mind, I've got, as I say, I've got no service history. Just want to redo the seals, so that's what I'm going to do. Yeah, no leakage at the moment. So I've never done upside down forks before. No, hang on a minute. I've never done right way up forks before. I've done upside down forks before. So there is a slight difference with these. So I'll be getting the Haynes Bible out and checking. But as I say, I've just done the wheel bearing, so the wheel and everything's out. So the next step in the process would be to take the mudguard off and get one of the forks out. And hopefully should be able to get to all the bolts that I need to get to do that without stripping any of the fairing off, which will be really nice if I can. But I'll carry on and I'll find out whether I can. With that out of the way, that sounds horrible. I don't know whether it's meant to sound like that. It's all new territory. I think the next thing to do is to pinch off this bolt in the bottom while you've got some pressure on it. Then take off the top one. So let's see what size that is. It's a big one. There we go. Could hear that gurgle with oil, so I'll just put that back up just a little bit. Right, that's that. Now I want some 10mm yeah, they're definitely loose enough. So that's those two on the bottom yoke. Those two in there. Now before I take off the pinch bolt on the top yoke and undo the clip on, I'm just going to undo this a little bit, because that would be a pig to undo without clamping it, and I don't really want to put it in my vice because that might chew the stanchion up or the slider up, or indeed chew these up or snap them off, because they're only a bit cast alley, so they're not the toughest things in the world. So yeah, I'm going to take that off first, undiddle it, I think is the technical term. Let's let the bike down a little bit. Again, the beauty of working with the Gsxr Skylift. So one that size, 24. And again, I don't think these are extremely tight. Get on there. It's just not long enough, is it? Let's screw that in, which I think is part of it. You screw your dampener right in anyway. I'll just photograph where it is at the moment. Like that. And then let's get a 17 miles away. 14. There's 24 turns down. Right, where do I put that other spanner? There. That's better. Take that off. So now it's the top pinch bolt of the top yoke and the clip on. We'll get a spanner on the clip on. Release the locating bolt. And then undo the clip on. Alright, so that's loose. And then top yoke pinch bolt. Right, everything's loose. Should be able to just pull this fork out. Fork out. Right, up on the bench. Right, fork on the bench. You know, when you've got a good woman who tells you you need to have a beer now. Definitely. Right, according to the instructions in the Haynes Bible, I took the fork out wrong. You're meant to take all the fairings off for some reason. Very strange. Removal, disassembly. Support the fork leg in an upright position and unscrew the fork top bolt from the top of the tube. Slide the fork tube down inside. I haven't actually got anything to hold it up with, so I'll have to hold it up. Probably. So let's undo this. See what happens. What's the worst that could happen? Are we under spring load here, aren't we? So that will, I don't think they go too far, but you've got to be aware that that is going to spring up. See? Terrifying. Now we need to put the fork tube down. I'm just going to drain some of that oil out first. Oh, it does reek. Oh yeah, I think that might be well overdue. It almost sounds like there's lumps in it. Oh, you know when it's rotten. Right, that'll do for the minute. Move that out of the way. And then I'll move the slider all the way down. The slider's moved all the way down. And then in the manual, grasp the spacer and press down on it to compress the spring and expose the lock nut on the bottom of the preload adjuster, which is already exposed. So it's not looking good for the spring. Right. So yeah, this is a lot easier than it should be. So holding that, holding the preload, take off the lock nut, and then this lot that on there, that on there, and then crack that off, and then unscrew this, which should take that and the damper rod out, put that somewhere fairly safe. Right, grasp the spacer and compress the spring and remove the slotted collar, noting how it fits. It fits like that. That fits like that, and that fits like that. But the spring doesn't need compression. Yeah, so it's got a sunken bit in the middle, and the sunken bit faces down the fork, so your nut there sits in it. Comes off, the washer comes off, spacer comes off, and then we should be able to take the spring out. Remove the slotted collar, the washer, the spacer. Oh, another washer. Interesting. Drink some beer. Right, slotted washer, washer, spacer, washer, and these are to say anything about those. I would say the bottom edge is rounded and the top edge is sharp, just to give some orientation. Spring sheet, withdraw the spring. Remove the damper cartridge bolt, which is this fella in the bottom. There's a copper washer on that. Remove the previously loosened damper cartridge bolt. Bottom, and its sealing washer. The washer, as a new one must be fitted, reassemble. Withdraw the damper cartridge from inside the fork tube. Some sort of seat. Some sort of seat that this bit sits in the bottom there. And by the looks of it, it might be stuck down with all the mud in the bottom. Right, after we've taken this cartridge out, we need to prise off the dust seal, remove the retaining clip, and the dust seal on it is pretty ropey. Yes, a little bit oxidization there. Seal itself. Look at the state of that. That'll need a bit of a clean, probably. Alright, so that's that there. And then there's a clip in there. Fairly rank. I've got a replacement in the kit. So that goes there like that. And then I think we're ready to do slide hammer movements. That'll be that. And that's the bit that goes in the bottom. Yeah, some sludgy shit in there. You probably can't see it, but it's sludgy shit. So that goes on the bottom of your damper cartridge. And I think it's more like a locator thing. And then your bolt goes up through the bottom of the fork and holds all that unit together. Without that, the bottom of this will be allowed to wiggle. That's probably something to do with it. Do you know what I mean? Right, I've got a clean tube, so off with the old seal. It wasn't leaking, but it's horrible. Then a spacer, and then we got, so it's not that one that gets replaced in the kit. It's the bottom one. It's the bottom one. I thought it was the top one. Got it fucking wrong, didn't you? Yes, it's that bottom one that gets replaced. Right. Next step, big clean up, and then bring you back. Cleaning's all done, apart from this bottom bit. I've just taken this off and then the camera went mad, so all I do, should I say, open it up with a screwdriver and then pull it off. So I want a bit more cleaning on that end. That's just brake cleaner. I'm not putting anything too aggressive on it. So, new one of them. Bit of fork oil. I recommend 10 weight on in the book. Pretty nice. So that's now rubbish, and then right, so that gets stuck, the catch in there like that, and then this with some oil on it. Oh, without smashing your let me just check something. Oh, it's in there. That goes like that. This bush that was on the floor goes in there. Right, so the top bushing has gone in. It's not all the way, but it's far enough. The washer that goes on top again has got a chamfered edge on the bottom edge, and you can feel quite a flat, sharp edge on the top. So that goes on, and then put my smashing things homes tool on it, and as you can see, that's all I've already knocked back down as far as that will go. So next step will be the seal, which is this one, and that goes flat edge facing up, and that's your seal there with the spring going down like that, and that will go a certain amount of the way until the groove that takes this clip, or the new one anyway, is visible. Okay, and the ring seat is clearly visible, so that can go out of the way, and then we'll new one of these. That's definitely in there. Right, retaining clip, lubricate the inside of the new dust seal. Little bit of a difference. Right, lubricate the inside of this. Fit the fork protector to the top slider. I couldn't get that off, and I didn't want to damage it, so I left it on. That's why I was using the side of the screwdriver, just get that seal round inside, make sure that was down properly, but that's all good. Insert the damper cartridge assembly into the fork tube and slide it fully down so that it engages the damper cartridge seat. That's this fella. It feels as though it's home. So it goes in that little cup at the bottom. Fit a new sealing washer to the damper cartridge bolt. That's this one. So that can go. Why doesn't it turn then? Why doesn't all this turn? Right, specific torque of that is damper cartridge bolt 35 Newton meters. Wow. There you go. Right, 35 on that. So that's U fixed in. U fixed in. Pour in the correct quantity and type of fork oil. Fork oil capacity 528. So 102 millimeters from the top, which should be 528 cc's of oil. Should have got a Gsxr 750 because I've only bought two 2.5 litres of oil, and I'm going to need more than that. Right, so I've got this thingy. What was it? 102 millimeters. Right, so that's set at 102 millimeters. That sits on the top of there, and if I put more than that in, I can suck it out. So initially, I've got this ½ litre pot. I'm going to shove all of that in there, and I should need more. That's done, that's done. This one's right. They recommend putting a bit of string or something around there so you can pull it back out once the oil's in there, or else you won't be able to reach it. So as I say, first of all I'm going to throw that whole ½ litre in. And that's definitely too much. Yeah, that's way too much. I'm just going to double check the Bible, make sure I'm doing that right, because that 500 litres has left me about that much gap at the top. About that much gap at the top. And it should be that much gap. So I'm going to double check that. Okay, the book is saying 528 cc's of fork oil. I've pumped this up and down, and I believe I've got rid of all the air gaps contained within. And I've got fluid coming out, at the top, which has taken the level a nice bit down. So let's have a check now. It's just touching it by the looks of it. Yeah, it's just touching it. That is right where it wants to be. And it's just getting hold of a dribble. So I'll go with that as being spot on. Right, back up on the bench, stick it all back together. Right, springs in. I use my vice and a bungee cord actually to pull it up through the spring. Pull the string up through the spring. Right, springs in, washer. Now this, as I say, has got chamfered edge on the bottom, and you can quite clearly feel a sharp edge at the top. Chamfered edge goes down onto your spring. Then the spacer. Like that. And then the next washer, and again chamfered edge goes down. Like that. And then realistically I need to take this string off of here. Without losing the will to live. Okay, string's off. So now, well it says in the book to compress it, but I don't need to compress it. And then put the slot washer underneath your lock nut. And then, I presume it's the damper rod. So yes, now it's the turn of the damper rod. Feed that down through and then screw the assembly on. Till it bottoms out. Alright. That's that bottomed out, so now I need to cut the 14s on the bottom, and then you turn the nut onto do the nut up to the top bolt. And pinch it up. And then pull the tube up. So it's so loose on there. That ain't right, is it? Is that so loose? I should have measured the spring, shouldn't I? And then pull the fork tube up. And screw the top bolt to it. And I've replaced the O-ring at the top there with a new one. Where's my 24? There's my 24. I'll just get the O-ring seated, and we should have a sealed unit. No leaks at the bottom, all looking good. There'll be a bit of oil coming out because obviously the seals were put on with oil. that's nice. There you go, that's me having done my Gsxr 600s front fork. Bit of a peg leg at the moment. So yeah, I'll feed that back up and secure it, and then do the other leg. I won't bore you with the other leg because I've done this leg and you've seen me do this leg. That's how I do it. Any hints or tips? I should have measured that spring. Definitely should have measured that spring just to see. It doesn't feel as though there's anything loose in the top where there was that play. Yeah, I should have measured the spring. Perhaps I'll do that on the next leg. But I haven't got any spare springs to put in it, so it's gone back together as it was. I'll see how it rides. But there you go, anyway. That's me having done my Gsxr 600s front fork, and that's the first time I've ever done a right way up fork. And because everything come apart as it should, it was fairly easy. But I think one of the main problems people have is this bottom bolt not coming undone. And they say impact gun it off, sort of trying to shock it into coming undone. But that came undone nicely, and it done up very nicely as well, so I'm happy with that. And definitely worthwhile, because although they weren't leaking, I don't think they were long for leaking. There's obviously shit getting past this dust seal, and you can start, well, I can, you can start seeing the ingress of shit there, and it wouldn't be long before that breached and I had a leak. So overall, I think, and that's what matters, I think it was worthwhile. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed that, and probably the next time you see me, I'll be trying out some new handlebars. Yes. Anyway, thanks for watching. Catch you again. Ta-ra.